In this episode, we seem to be going backwards towards getting $250,000 in the account and buying our first large production, an oil mill. But I assure you, it's all just a tiny step backwards to make big strides forward. The auto stacker's doing quick work of clearing our freshly cut grass from the fields, and they're gonna make us a lot of money after they get turned into silage. We're starting this episode with about $49,000, but that is gonna change very soon because in June, we'll be selling a massive amount of milled timber. We have the field work to finish though, and after we get the bales all unloaded at the upper field, we'll get right into the wrapping. The combination of the Anderson wrapper and the auto stacker, it's a good one. Both those pieces of equipment were excellent purchases. We'll tuck that away where it belongs, and we'll do the last step on the grass fields, the rolling. Now, the rolling for us has been a little bit of a dilemma. The rolling is a good way to fully fertilize grass fields, but this roller is fairly small, at 6 meters wide, and fairly slow at 7 miles per hour. I had said in a previous episode that I was gonna look for a modded one that was a little bit better, but also wasn't ridiculously cheap relative to the improvements. Let me show you what I found. There was this Dalbo 2430 that was absolutely tremendous. It has 4 times the working width and traveled almost twice as fast. Now, that seems like a big upgrade, but the price of this roller was over $140,000, which is a big leap over the $17,500 for our current roller, and it also required 350 horsepower. So yes, it was a huge upgrade, but you wound up paying for it through the price and tractor requirements. So this roller would have been well worth it. The thing is, it's almost too much roller. In fact, it's so wide, it might be hard to actually operate on our relatively small fields. And in truth, I didn't want to really spend that much money. But I did find another alternative. There was this Dalbo roller, the 1230 HD, which might be suitable. It was only twice the working width, which is more like what I had in mind, but it also traveled at an incredible 18 miles per hour. That's 2.5 times the current roller, which seems like a bit too much improvement for a roller that costs only twice as much over our roller. I'd be a lot happier if that roller only went, let's say, 9 or 10 miles per hour. I think then I could justify buying it. What I'm going to do though is let you, the viewers, decide if this Dalbo 1230 is too much roller for the price through a voting poll on my channel, and I'll finish up the rolling. All right, we'll put that away, and depending on the voting, it might be one of the last times we'll use it. We'll just have to see. We only have one more chore here to take care of our goats, and even though it seems like a long time ago, it was less than a year since we built the new goat barn in the lower pasture and expanded the herd. So the new goats haven't even reached their full production. With that done, we'll move into May, where we've got important things to take care of, and unfortunately, we're being greeted with another hailstorm. You can see these bare spots where the oats are being destroyed by the hail. We'll just wait out the hail in the old shed and survey the damage when it's all done. The hail converted to rain and now to sun, with plenty of the day left in May to get some work done. And here we can see the damage. About 3 damaged areas in the oat field and a couple of spots in the canola field below it. We'll come back to the canola field later, but I think first we'll get on the log grab and move a couple tree pieces down into our sawmills. First, we'll get this log pushed from the big elm we cut down earlier. That'll provide a lot of wood, and then get another smaller sized tree. We'll go around the back behind the fence and get some of these trees back here that we found a couple episodes ago in the area I called the secret property. There's a fair number of trees back here, and I'm just going to take the first ones we come to and get that loaded. These extra natural trees are the perfect resource we needed until our oaks fully mature. Okay, that's got it for the lower sawmill. We'll move our little tree felling operation up to the area alongside the new field we just purchased and start clearing a couple of those trees. I plan to put production buildings and probably more sheds up alongside the field, so they need to get cleared and we need the wood. So this is a win-win. So let's try to get this by the shed, boss, without destroying the crop if we can. Or at least as little as possible. Okay, new plan. We'll pull the tree out around the other way. Probably should have done that to begin with. A little lift to get it over the fence hazard. And onward to the sawmill. This tree was decent, but the sawmill could use a fair bit more. So we'll take this big old branch we've been keeping along the side and get that in there to finish topping off the sawmill. There, that job's done, and we can roll forward into June, which will be a big month for the farm. June is when we sell a lot of our milled timber, and we got a lot of it to sell this year. And we've also got the barley field to harvest. So we'll do something special and get over to the store. And I'm going to buy a second EDK 650 trailer and operate a little tandem setup for hauling. A bigger grain trailer never came on sale, and I think we'll just have a lot more fun with something interesting like a double trailer. We'll style it exactly like the other one and get it all hooked up together to make our little trailer train. We'll convert both to the grain storage and get back to the farm. I wasn't too sure if I really wanted to do this, and backing up and all will be nearly impossible, at least for my skills, but doubling our capacity for $9,000 seemed like a good deal. Alright, the harvester is moving, the barley is coming into the hopper. Let's clear this great looking barley and get it all stored in the silo. We'll sell it months from now when the price is at its best. Wow, this is a really heavy haul with the John Deere. With this tandem setup, we'll probably need to use the Deutz-Fahr for most carting. Let's see if we have any issues rear dumping with both trailers. Look at that, no problem at all. It's like they were made to be joined together. Let's get the rest of the harvest and have a little more fun with our trailers. The rear tipping went fine. Let's be a little sporty and try a side tip. We obviously don't need to, but we might as well show off the versatility of the EDK650. And so far in the series, we've seen it back tip, unload through the grain door, and now side tip. Next, we'll take the trailers back over to the store for another familiar trick, and that's to convert to a bale trailer. This time, we've got 2 sawmills worth of products to sell, and especially a lot of short planks. So I'm expecting to fill both these trailers twice with the mountain of lumber we've got to sell. Now, as I was driving back, I remembered a couple half-done pieces of work we should get finished before moving on to a completely different job like loading the lumber. We need to get the barley straw baled up and moved off the field to store on the side and sell later. It's probably best to completely finish this field before we get too distracted, which I've already done a couple times in this series. Now, I just said we should finish the field before getting distracted, but I just got distracted. Up here at our new fields where we have the canola and oats growing, I had meant to place some beehives, mainly for the canola. Honey production has been greatly reduced in FS25, but I'm getting the beehives mainly for the yield bonus on the canola. We're going to be buying the largest ones that have a 150 meter radius range. So I'm using the tape measure mod, the same one I use to measure the length of my logs to fit nicely on the trailer, and double checking to ensure a single set of hives in the middle will reach across both these fields. The hives will produce a little bit of honey, but I'm not really expecting much out of that. Maybe 1 pallet a year from 4 of these like I'm placing. But they will give a 5% yield bonus to the canola. And because we're growing so much of it here, I think we'll make the investment. $12,000 for 4 of the large beehives. Let's take a look. Nice. I can hear them buzzing when I stand close. And look, you can see them flying out into the canola flowers. We'll place the spawn point way down here at the new goat barn and sawmill, way in the back. It's accessible and nothing we need to get to too often. As long as the spawn point is somewhere on your farm, the honey will find its way there from the hives. The only thing I regret is not placing the hives earlier, because next month we'll be harvesting the canola, and they probably need a full growing month to do their yield bonus thing. But we will be turning right around and planting canola in both these fields. In the next episode, we'll also be selling our mountain of lumber for a huge income boost, and neither of us want to miss that. See you next time.